The final group of clouds we will be looking at fall into the low cloud category. They usually have a base between the surface of the Earth and 8,500 feet approximately. These clouds include Nimbostratus, Stratus, Stratocumulus, Cumulus, towering Cumulus, and Cumulonimbus. Nimbostratus that can fall in either the low cloud category or the medium cloud category has a base that is usually between 3,000 and 9,000 feet. It has a thickness of between 2,000 and 15,000 feet and is darker grey in colour, generally covering the whole sky. It is thick enough to hide the sun or the moon, and its base appears diffused due to the continual falling of rain or snow. It can sometimes be confused for Alto stratus, but is a darker grey colour, and it has a lack of distinct lower surface. It is formed through widespread ascent and frontal lifting, and is composed mainly of water droplets to -10 degrees Celsius, water droplets and ice crystals to -40 degrees Celsius, and then only ice crystals at temperatures below -40. As mentioned earlier, the weather associated with it is usually moderate to heavy continuous rain or even snow. Turbulence is usually nil to light, but it can occasionally have moderate or even severe turbulence when associated with frontal activity. Icing can be experienced in the cloud in the form of moderate to heavy rime, and when turbulence is present or the cloud is very deep, mixed and clear icing, particularly just above the freezing level, is common. The visibility in the cloud is anywhere between 20 to 100 meters, so very small visibility, and the effect on VFR flight is significant to dangerous. Visibility will be reduced by both cloud and rain. You need to be careful that a towering cumulonimbus or a cumulonimbus is not embedded in a widespread nimbostratus and hidden. Nimbostratus and thick altostratus are the only clouds to produce continuous rain. Stratus clouds are usually grey in colour and are layered. They usually have a fairly uniform base and will often be associated with drizzle. Their base is usually around 500 to 2,000 feet, and their thickness can vary between 200 and 1,000 feet. They are composed of water droplets and, as stated earlier, will often have occasional drizzle associated with them. They usually have nil to light turbulence, and there's usually no icing in the cloud. Visibility in the cloud can be anywhere between 10 to 200 meters, so fairly low visibility, and can be very dangerous to VFR flights due to the low ceiling and visibility. Stratus clouds are formed through turbulence and orographic lifting. Stratocumulus are grey or white patches or sheets of clouds with a base between 2,000 and 5,000 feet and a thickness of 500 to 300 feet. They often contain dark parts and are composed of rounded masses or rolls of clouds which can be joined or show breaks between them within the thicker areas. They are formed through turbulence, orographic lifting, widespread ascent, and frontal lifting. They are usually composed of water droplets. They generally have nil weather associated with them, but can produce drizzle and sometimes, but it's rare, produce light rain or snow. They have light to moderate turbulence beneath and in the cloud, but generally have smooth air above them. If the Stratocumulus cloud is above the freezing level, then they can occasionally have light rime icing. Even though the temperature range might be within the clear icing range, the drop size is usually too small to form ice. In the cloud there is a visibility between 30 and 200 meters, but this is even worse in drizzle. There is significant effect on VFR flight due to the low ceilings and visibility. Pilots also need to be wary that stratocumulus clouds can also be associated with and sometimes conceal cumulus, towering cumulus, and cumulonimbus. Cumulus clouds are detached clouds with dense, white, sharp outlines. The upper part often resembles a cauliflower, and the base is usually dark and nearly horizontal. Sunlit parts of the cloud are bright white. They are formed by convection, orographic lifting, widespread ascent, and frontal lifting. They are composed of mainly water drops to -10 degrees Celsius, a mix of water drops and ice crystals to -40 degrees Celsius, and then only ice crystals at temperatures below -40 degrees Celsius. They have a base of between 2,000 and 5,000 feet, but can sometimes vary between 1,000 feet or go up as high as 10,000 feet. Their thickness is usually between 2,000 and 8,000 feet. A fine weather cumulus, opposed to a towering cumulus that we will look at later, usually has nil significant weather associated with it. It has light to moderate turbulence in the cloud, and freezing level is generally above the cloud, but otherwise you can experience occasional light, clear icing, mixed or rime icing. In the cloud, visibility can be anywhere between 0 and 200 meters, but it usually has very little effect on VFR flight. Pilots need to be aware that cumulus clouds may develop rapidly into towering cumulus and or cumulonimbus clouds. Towering cumulus clouds are a type of cumulus clouds and share a lot of the same characteristics. The main difference is that towering cumulus will have a large vertical extent to them. This large vertical extent may reach up to the tropopause and sometimes even above it, although this is rare. Towering cumulus clouds can have moderate to heavy showers of rain or snow associated with them. They also have moderate to severe turbulence in and below the cloud, and generally worse turbulence when entering or leaving the cloud. They have light to moderate clear icing. It's worse just above the freezing level and is made up of a mix of mixed and rime. Towering cumulus clouds can be nearly as dangerous as cumulonimbus clouds and should be avoided. Cumulonimbus clouds are heavy and dense clouds with a considerable vertical extent. At least part of its upper proportion is usually fibrous, and the base of the cloud are dark and stormy looking. Low ragged clouds are frequently observed below the base, and generally other clouds are joined to or in close proximity of the cumulonimbus. Thunderhead clouds composed of water droplets. Sometimes these are supercooled and ice crystals are at the top. Cumulonimbus clouds are formed by convection, orographic lifting, widespread ascent, and frontal lifting. The cloud composition is mainly water droplets to -10 degrees Celsius, then a mix of water droplets and ice crystals to -40 degrees Celsius. After this, only ice crystals are present at temperatures below -40 degrees. Thunderstorms, lightning, squalls, moderate to heavy showers of rain, snow, or hail are often associated with cumulonimbus clouds. Severe to extreme turbulence can be experienced in and below the clouds, and they're generally worse in entering or leaving the cloud. Icing that is heavy to severe, clear, mixed, and rime can often be found in the clouds, and visibility is usually less than 20 meters. These clouds are extremely dangerous due to the low ceilings and visibility, and should be avoided for VFR flight. These are the most dangerous types of clouds in terms of turbulence and hail, and flying should not take place if they are present. So just a couple of notes to sum up to help remember things. If a cloud starts with Cirr, such as Cirrocumulus, Cirrostratus or Cirrus, it's going to be in the high cloud range. If a cloud starts with Alto, such as Altocumulus or Altostratus, it will be in the mid cloud range. And all the other clouds we've talked about today will usually fall in the low cloud range. Nimbo, if you have the word Nimb in the name of the cloud, such as Nimbostratus or Nimbocumulus, it's going to be a dark cloud and often have weather associated with it. Cumulus clouds are more likely to be fluffy mounds, and stratus clouds are going to be more likely to be layers or thin blankets that cover most of the sky. So try and remember this, and even if you don't remember the exact name of the cloud, you should be able to work out a lot of its characteristics from these few notes.